Hey guys, it's Eric again, and I've had some questions about can you record MIDI too, or can you record separate parts and MIDI, and so I thought I'd do a test. And if you look here, we see we've separated out each of the 5 MIDI channels here for different tracks, and then we've separated out audio too, because I figure I'm going to do audio too while we try that, and then there's an all MIDI. So let's see what happens when we try to record everything all at once. And if we look at the MIDI environment, I'm going to make sure that what's coming out of the Juno-X is going into the sequencer. That's for the MIDI. And we've already set up each of these channels for the appropriate outputs. So let's give this a try. And one of the things we're going to want to do is make sure we set all of these tracks here for record. Right? All the audio tracks. And then in this case, we were talking about doing all the MIDI tracks separately. Now, will it record separately in Logic? I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's an issue. So let's find out. Well, as we listened to this, we heard some kind of off notes. And what it looks like it did in Logic is record everything to just part 1 and then make aliases for these others, so we don't really need those. Now, I know in Logic and most DAWs, it's pretty easy to just strip these out per channel. And I don't think that's going to necessarily be a problem. One of the reasons I think we're hearing weird notes is because everything is playing out channel 1 while we record. So I think the solution here is going to be just record all MIDI onto one channel. So we're going to try that next. I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and just as a test, let's go ahead and play the regular music or the audio tracks. Now let's give it a try. It does sound like we've got all that extra sound in there, so it's causing a problem with the audio. So let's go ahead and delete all these tracks and let us try this again. Delete each individual track there. I should have done for all, but you know, hey. I'll go ahead and shorten this again. We'll go back to the beginning, and what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to set it just for this track and the audios. Okay, so we've got all the audios recording and just the MIDI combined. I think that will eliminate the parts going out because they're coming in, but they're also kind of being converted to MIDI. So let's on channel 1, and that's causing an issue. So let's give that a try. Okay, so it looks like that worked pretty well. It sounded much better. And I think what we can do is we can kind of, let's see here. I wonder if we can just trim this. And then here, and we'll move it back. We'll test it like this. Yeah, so what we need to do is we're going to go ahead and mute our MIDI. And then we're going to select these extra tracks and just play the main audio track just to make sure it came through. So here we go. Yeah, that's sounding good. All right, so let's go ahead and mute all of the audio tracks, and let's play back the MIDI. Let's see how that's sounding. Yeah, coming through the Juno-X. That's great. All right, so we know we have all of them there. So now the issue is we need to get these divided into parts, and the easiest way to do that in Logic, and most DAWs have this, is just a simple separate by channel. So as we look at these, we can see that as we go into these, I'll have to take a look at what channel it's on. That's on channel 5, so that is this track. It needs to go down to channel 5, which is the rhythm. What channel is this? That's channel 4. This is channel 3. That's 2, and that leaves 1. So that was pretty easy to separate. We can get rid of all of these here and delete them. We can leave the main all MIDI. Make sure we turn off the recording and play that separated out. Let's hide this. And then close this, and it will expand it out. As you can see, the separate parts are very nice. Very cool. I really do think it might have something to do with your DAW, whether it can record in individual parts and how everything's routed. For me, it's probably easier to record all MIDI and do a one-step separate by channel. There it is. Separate MIDI events by channel. I think that's going to be pretty easy for me, and that's what I'm going to end up doing. So there you go. Just another test. Hope you are getting more insight into the Juno-X.